Well, when this decides to go, there we go.
So today I'm gonna tell a story about this friend. We're gonna call him Kevin because he wanted to remain anonymous and he gave me full consent to share his story. And today I'm gonna share his story, which has happened not too long ago, so it's perfect. And today I will be talking about teen suicide, something that has gone under the radar for so much time in this world, and I will be advocating why we need to push towards helping teen suicide as it's causing lives at an alarming. It's taken so much out of me to write this, but I think it's time as I've been fighting for my life these last 2 weeks. Diagnosed with depression, in high school, being very suicidal. I never thought I would say this again, but I am very suicidal. I've already made my plan on how to end my life. As part of this is to write and how much I hate being vulnerable with my emotions and thoughts. I know I'm at my last hope with trying to speak out. I choose to give this to you because I don't know why, but I trust you and you're my counselor. I would just like to talk because I am sadly at the edge of my life in which I'm counting my final days as the pain has become so unbearable that not even my medication can help. I would just like to talk to you one on one for one final time. So this was a note Kevin had sent to his counselor as he was on the edge of his life and he had run out of options. And if he really didn't speak out, he was going to take his life. So what is suicide? What led him to make this note? Suicide is when you take your own life by decision. Now, boy suicide. There's a very big difference between boys and girl suicide, as boys are 3 times more likely to take their own lives. However, girl suicide, they're more likely to attempt it. However, they never really fall through. And guns is really the main source of how they always end up committing suicide or taking their own life. Adolescent depression. So problems with memory. This is created by depression and the mental health as it is caused in 1/8 of the teens. So any type of anxiety really can cause you memory loss, and it really harms a teen as you really when you go in this stage, Kevin had described it. You really go in this stage where you can't think straight, you can't concentrate, and you can't really focus on what you're doing. You're just really thinking about whether you're gonna live or die for the next day. Post-concussion syndrome. This is what they call very similar to depression as when you get a concussion. It's exactly the same when you get diagnosed with depression or you're dealing with any mental health. You really can't think straight. You don't know where you're at. However, it's not really physical. It's just really emotional and mental. Now, the fragile teenage brain. This is something that has been researched for not thousands of years, a lot of time. Uh, and scientists have discovered that the electricity in the brain caused by the neurons, when it begins to leak the brain, it begins to release all this power from the brain. When something tragic happens to you and you fall into a depression, it begins to leak, and it really affects you because as you continue on, and when your brain starts to recover, that's when all the effects come in. That's when the suicidal effects come in, the anxiety comes in. As you're in the stage of recovering in the process, and you're really trying to build up that motive to live again. However, this is a very dangerous zone to be in, as this is where teenagers are the most vulnerable. Now, the 10 leading causes. First one is the female statistics. Suicide is the second leading cause in teenage death, and you can see the number 683 women take their lives. And that's just in a month. As we speak, in every 13 minutes, someone takes their life away. So as we're speaking, right now, someone is taking their life away. And it's just crazy to see how many people will take their life by option and not just by cancer or something like that. Because at the end of the day, suicide takes away more lives than cancer has. No statistics. And you can see the increase in this bar as it is basically 3 times the suicide rate. And this is because of the stigma in men's mental health that men should keep to themselves. And this is what Karen described it. He was so afraid to open up because he was so scared to get hurt or that people wouldn't understand him. And that's why I was so grateful that he opened up to me. after he had gone through everything that he went through. That he was sent to a hospital and then sent to a mental facility, and he really described his journey and how he came to this. So it really explains how we really need to not look out only for women, but especially for men, as they're more likely to take their own life. Now, COVID. Of course, a lot of people think that, oh, teen suicide is just caused by the pandemic that just happened. However, that's incorrect. By this time, pre-COVID, teen suicide was already at an all-time high. It had increased 60% in 2000 by 2017. No, by 2007, and it keeps on increasing. It really hasn't stopped as we haven't really found a way or managed to keep continuing the story on how to help teen suicide. Second, it is the second leading cause, how I said. It's taking so many lives away more than cancer. And for the past 10 years, the numbers have increased dramatically as people still haven't found a way to really stop or really control teen suicide, and it's really getting out of control. Hence, why I'm trying to bring awareness to it. So now, what are the warning factors? The first is pressure. Of course, pressure, stress comes with every teenager from high school going on to college. It's really a lot of pressure, and it can really get to a lot of people. The second one is bullying. This is something that has become a pretty norm in our society, and it's really sad to see how so many people have taken their lives because of what other people think of them. Number three, social isolation. This is when people are just so distant from everyone as they're scared to open up about their story or any kind to ask for help. And this is something that Kevin really does out with. And this one to perfection. So many kids these days, they try to be the so perfect as their parents have such high expectations that they just really are afraid to fail. And this is something that Kevin wants to do. And fourth, face discrimination. An example is like the LGBTQ community. So many LGBTQ people have taken their own lives because they don't feel accepted in the society, and it's just really sad to see that just because they're happy, they really take their own lives away because they can't be accepted in a society where everyone should be happy no matter what. Bullying. Now, I really want to get into this topic because bullying is such a big factor in teen suicide that it's one of the leading causes of what causes suicide. So, first one is bully side. This this is what I explained that bullying really leads to so many teenagers taking their own lives away, and it's just amazing to see how words can be so powerful, and it's just you have to be really careful with your words. The second, cyberbullying. This whole time we're in 2021, our whole lives are basically in social media, and at this point, it's really hard to neglect that we care about what other people think of us. So any little comment that could be causing Instagram, Snapchat, or anything, it really will hurt, or it could really make or break someone depending on how strong mentally you are. Now the cost. So surprisingly, suicide is very expensive. Especially a 10's lifetime, it costs over $70 billion as in medical care, and it's just really overwhelming to see this number that just keeps on growing as more people try to take away their life. Second is 195 billion dollars in prescription just in drug use, so we can help people overcome their depression. Something else that's really hard, and 80 billion in drugs that's really not considered a prescription. Something else that's really hard. The solutions to it. So in the book, The Suicide Solution, the immersed nature, you can turn your inside time into outside time. As when you go outside, you just get that fresh air and just feel it, and it's just such a blessing. It can really help you motivate and continue on. And live in the present. A lot of people they focus on living tomorrow. I'll do this tomorrow. I'll focus tomorrow. I'll whatever it is, and it really the reality is the day will never be better tomorrow unless you start today. Sharing our inferior narrative. You you have to share your struggles. Be open about your struggles as as if not, it really a bomb waiting to explode at the end of the day. And this is how I would like to help people. The first QR code is a club that I would like to start because Pepperdine does not offer any kind of mental health help other than the counseling, and you're only allowed 5 weeks of it. And this way, we like to serve you of it, and then right here, and this is a really good suicide prevention training that would help you for either yourself or so you can help other people. Now, finding your way out of darkness. This National Suicide Hotline phone number, and this is my phone number. Now you say, why am I giving you my phone number? Because Kevin is not a real person. That was my story. Last week, I was rushed to the hospital as I was really suicidal for the second time, and I was sent to a mental health facility. It took me 5 days to be stable enough and keep going. So I just want to share that I'm living proof that it's possible to keep on going and just keep fighting.